You finally found the perfect car in racing blue. You even got them to throw in the LED fog lights for free. Auto Owners insures your car because some people never learn to parallel park. That's simple human sense. Keep going. More. No, stop!
Well, good day and welcome to this edition of the Red Raider Coaches Show. My name is Brent Johnson along with Offensive Coordinator Matt Wilson and Linebackers Coach and Special Teams Coach Mr. Austin Wilder. I want to thank these gentlemen for joining us today. Well guys, we're going to get right to it. You know, last week we had our second region matchup where we traveled down to Brooks County, and you know the result didn't end quite like we anticipated or hoped for, but we knew we were going to a place where we talked about that culture of winning. One of the best coaches in the state in the last decade or two. He finally got that other state, or did he win the state championship in '94? Or was that a different coach?
It was him.
It was him. Okay, so he 19 years later or whatever it was, he wins another state championship for Brooks County a few years back. And so again, we knew what we were up against just by traveling down to Brooks County. And then we faced a pretty good football team. Yep. They showed that size and athleticism. You explained to us and the audience that don't look at their record. You know, yes, they played some pretty stout football teams all season long, and sometimes that can get in your mind as to, well, you know, they don't look too good on paper from a record standpoint, but and when we got there, again, it's just a great atmosphere, and that's what we want to see and be a part of, and that's what we were. So, Coach, tell us a little bit about, you know, what we tried to do, you know, what we were unable to do for various whatever the reasons were from an offensive standpoint.
Offensively, we wasn't, once again, we didn't really execute good at all. I mean, the first drive we really probably should have scored. I think they ripped the ball out of our hands, and that could change the game right there.
Absolutely.
So that's execution, and it was just all night, just wasn't really executing. Didn't seem our focus was there. So right now we're trying to come back to the fundamentals of the game. We're taking a step back. Hey, let's work on fundamentals, hustling, doing that stuff the right way, which we've preached all year. So we're trying to get back to that. But offensively, it was just execution. I think a turnover or two. You know, we got to get rid of that type of stuff. So we just execution.
Well, you know, we started the game on defense, and me and Sky had talked about, you know, over the course of the away games, at least, especially, you know, we kicked the ball off 3 and out, and we'd gone down and scored, and man, we had an opportunity. I think the second play of the game, Brooks fumbled the ball, and we collected on about the 25-yard line. But unfortunately, you're talking about execution. I think after 2 plays, we were 15 yards. We were on like the 40, you know, from penalties and some other things. And that again, that just hurts you. If we were able to, and then we still had, like you said, we had a chance to score a touchdown. He had it, and they made it. I think they made a good play, and on combination of hitting the ground, he had the ball in hand, and so we almost had a chance to put a touchdown on the books right there early, and could have, whether it had changed the outcome of the win or loss for us, I think it definitely could have changed the dynamic of the game. Some momentum. Old Mo would have showed up for us a little there. But yeah, I think from an execution standpoint, it was, you know, I think we declined that game particularly, you know, on the offensive side of the ball. Now from a defensive standpoint, boy, I mean, they had some dudes. You know, I watched a little bit of film last week, and I told you the Brooks and Irwin game, maybe that was the wrong game to look at because the quarterback didn't look very efficient. He was just kind of slinging it and throwing it around, and a lot of incompletions and a few completions, and he was dropping dimes the other night. And on top of them, you know, having some really good receivers, the guy on that was on the left side all the time. Was he 6'4", 6'5"? 6'4", almost 200 pounds. Just a great looking kid, and he was tough to defend. And you know, it's just a mismatch. You know, we were on a mismatch a lot on the back end. And sometimes you get whipped like that, and you do everything you can to try to challenge them. And we did get beat a couple times, but again, he threw it perfect, almost every throw. And they took advantage of that. So, so from a defensive standpoint, we struggled on the back end. And so, just tell us some other issues we might have run into.
We start off the game with the turnover. We ended up with 3 this whole game, and we try to create as many turnovers as we can. But also in that you have to kind of schematically do your job. You know, I think we did a good job of stopping the run. Like at times they squirted through there a couple of times, and I think, you know, we held up in the pass game enough, but they still got their shots. Their team is going to take their shots. They got a quarterback that can sling it, and you know, due to some injuries at halftime, we had to adjust and run a different scheme. You know, and you know, they just executed and we didn't. That was the name of the game. I mean, I think at times we showed promise and we showed that, you know, hey, we're here, and then I think at times, you know, we sputtered out a little bit, and that's just me being truthful and honest. And I think the kids appreciate that we're honest with them about that type of stuff. But I think they're a really good team. I really do. I think they got a really good offense. I think their offensive coordinator is one of my good friends, and he's good at calling it from the sideline. You don't see a lot of OCs that can really, you know, see where they need to go and everything like that from the sideline. But, you know, he did a good job, and hats off to him.
Yeah.
If we can beat them in the playoffs, we'll see how that goes.
See how it goes. And hopefully we'll have that opportunity. You know, before the game, Sky and I were talking about, I've really emphasized it several times, is, you know, all season long it just hadn't been too many seasons to where every game we were matching up with these other teams physically from a size standpoint and physicality and from an athletic standpoint. You know, and then there's that third component that every team struggles with, not just us. It's that mental component. It's between the ears. And I don't think it's a lack of preparedness because I see and know what you guys are doing during the week. I listen to the boys talk as far as a preparedness. But at some point, you know, there is, even though I've talked about this before too, 15, 16, 17, some 14-year-old boys, they have to take some responsibility too. You can't run the ball for them on the field. You can't throw it for them. You can't block for them. You know, you're doing all that during the week, and they have to execute. And at this time of the season, it reflects. You know, every play reflects because of the type of competition that we're playing, and everything is magnified. And again, that's where we're at. You know, and we'll just move right straight in from Brooks County. We're going to wipe the slate there, and man, we got another big ball game this week where I firmly believe, maybe I'm just a hopeless optimistic, but I just firmly believe that we can beat Irwin County at home tomorrow night. We're still capable of that. Again, from that physical standpoint, from the athleticism, it's just going to be, if our boys are going to be mentally prepared and ready to get it done.
That's right.
You know, I believe it's not hard to see that Irwin County is a little lower than they've been in the past, and we, by gosh, we need to take advantage of that because, number one, we're better than we have been in the past. And so what can we anticipate? We know they lost a lot of guys last year. Number one, their quarterback, and I think that's probably been the biggest difference. Soliday's son, I believe, graduated. And maybe about 4 or 5 weeks ago, They lost their better running back. I think he maybe broke an ankle or had a leg injury, lower leg injury. So they've had some tough times. But what can we expect? You know, us to be able to maybe do against their defense. What we're going to see this tomorrow night.
Number one, this week we amped it up in the weight room and we amped it up in practice. I'll be honest with you. On Tuesday, we did some one-on-ones and we saw who still wants to play and just kind of challenge them a little bit.
That's right.
And that was good, and they got after it, and they accepted it. And also, I mean, this is senior night too this Friday.
That's right.
So we're trying to play for the seniors. I mean, they've had 4 years. They've had a crazy 4 years, and they've helped us build it back up. And, they're the foundation now. We want to play for them seniors and get this in. So first of all, that's how so that's kind of how we're taking this approach this week. It's senior night. Seniors got to play out, and everybody got to play for them seniors.
That's right.
So defensively, Irwin, they're a 3-4 generally. Sometimes they'll bring another lineman in. They probably will against us because we're heavy run. I know number 90 on the D line. He was All-State last year. He's preseason All-State. He's a good one. He'll be on the end. And 57 another good one. They got two. They're going to be. It's Irwin. They're traditionally defensively. They're going to get after it. They're like Brooks. They're going to get after it.
That's right.
So just expect it's going to be a physical game. So we just got to execute and do what we're supposed to do, and we'll be fine, like always. And the penalty, keep them penalties, like you said, that first drive, and that's a mental thing. Them penalties, that first drive against Brooks, I mean, I don't have many calls for 1st and 20.
Yeah.
So second 27, second and 18, stuff like that. So and we were fine. We took a point to go over that. As I said, we amped it up this week. So. And they stepped up to the challenge, so
that's good.
We're excited about that. And we plan to get after it tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen. We plan to get after it.
Well, that's all we talked before the recording, and that's all we want is to compete.
That's it.
And you said it. You coaches have never said you got to win, but you got to do what it takes to win. To try, to put forth that effort during the week. We see it, and I like to hear that. You get physical on these days during the week. And I always go back, and just because they're the team I pull for, and I'm sure there's other teams in the country that do it, but Kirby Smart just emphasizes the physicality that they show during the week, and you have to earn your spot. To play on Saturday every week. It's not just this for the season. Over the summer, you're earning your spot, and so it's good you get back to the basics, like you said, and get back to that physical nature that we've seen so many times over this season. And listen, this has been a long season. It has. You factor in the 2 breaks, and the weather's turning cooler, and basketball's around the corner, and in the past. Unfortunately, before this new region with just 4 teams, a lot of times our season was winding up tomorrow night. Mm-hmm. But and that's a mental thing that some of these kids don't know about, and of just preparing themselves to, hey, let's play to Thanksgiving. Let's go. Let's be practicing the day after Thanksgiving, and see what that feels like. Those types of things, and again, that's that mental, just getting over that hump. Realizing that they are good enough to take that next step, and then hoping that again they'll do everything that it takes during the week, and especially on Friday night, from the first snap to the last. So, Coach, what can we anticipate from a defensive standpoint? What kind of attack they're going to bring tomorrow night?
They're a traditional wing T team. They've been wing T for forever. It feels like when I was in high school and everything, they were wing T. So they're going to bring the wing T mentality, a lot like, a little bit different than Johnson, but a lot of the same formations. They like to bring in a heavy package and bring some big boys in. So we have to prepare for that. But at the end of the day, just put the ball down and let's play. That's the whole, I feel like, the mindset of this week with coaches going into this week. Let's just put the ball down and compete. Give us an opportunity to compete. It don't matter if we're playing in the parking lot.
That's right.
Let's just compete. Let's just compete and be physical. Just let it loose. That for seniors on senior night, just let it loose and not think about anything. And the thing is that you get to continue your legacy tomorrow night. That's right. Not in your legacy, but continue your legacy. And I think that's a big thing with seniors on senior night. It's an emotional time. I mean, you can't blame people for getting emotional about it because it's your last home game. But it's not the end of your legacy, it's just the beginning. And you can continue what you built on this year. This senior class is done by coming out tomorrow night, competing, just put the ball down, we don't care.
Yep.
Let's just compete, give us an opportunity every play. And it's going to take little moments. You know, I heard the Kirby talking at halftime, I think it was versus South Carolina, he was talking about small moments. It's going to take small moments. And, well, from this point to the whenever our season ends, hopefully it's at the state championship in Atlanta, it's going to take little moments, little opportunities and little moments that we're going to have to take advantage of.
That's right.
Whether it's blocking my guy all the way, making a tackle, getting all the way to the hip of the guy before I leave my feet, or balls in the air, let's play it all the way through, let's play the man, let's do what the coaches are asking us to do. And it's going to be those little small moments.
Well, Coach, I want to ask you, I meant to mention this before to maybe put your thoughts together. What's at stake tomorrow night? Obviously, if we lose this game, we're going to be in that 4th spot. But if we win, it could complicate some things.
It could, right? Yeah. If we lose, we're in the 4th. If we win, I think it's depending on if Pelham beats Brooks, then we'd all. I know if Brooks beats Pelham, then we're all in a 3-way tie, and then it comes up to, I think, the region points. So it's hard to tell.
Okay.
Right. It's hard to tell, but
we'll know Saturday.
Yes.
We should know Saturday morning.
Yes,
or
we
late
will.
Friday night or Saturday morning. We'll know where we stand.
Because if we're in a 3-way tie, it all comes in points different, and I haven't even looked at that type
so
of
there's still there's still a possibility that we could end up in the 3rd spot. But either way, it looks like we will be traveling. Is that correct?
Yes.
So, and I'll let y'all do the research on Heard County or Lamar County because that's what it's going to come down to in that Region 4. It's going to be a little bit of a distance, but it doesn't matter. But I'm just going to reiterate what Coach Wilder was saying. There's little moments, and tomorrow night is a moment for this Red Raider team this year to get us over that hump. And I never want to give another coach or another school any type of billboard material like we sometimes utilized other. I've totally respected Brooks County. I totally respect Irwin, but that's where we want to get to. That's what we want to beat Irwin County. I'm not predicting a win, but we want that signature win. And that's and again, I'm bragging on them that they're a signature team. That's where Bacon County wants to get to. And again, we're just trying to get over that hump, and maybe it will be tomorrow night, unfortunately at Irwin County's expense, but that is what it is. And we want to encourage you to come out and support this Red Raider team. Don't give up on them just because of the last 2 weeks. We're in one of the pound for pound toughest regions in the state. Look it up, it's true. And again, there's no excuse. We want to continue to play hard and compete physically, athletically, and most importantly, mentally. But it is senior night, I think, and we want to honor those guys. And it's not just the football players; it's band members, it's cheerleaders, and a couple other sports they're recognizing. But come out early. I think it'll start about 7 p.m. As we honor these players and these other athletes and participants tomorrow night. And then at 7:30, there's going to be a kickoff. And we're just, we're hoping that, again, we're just going to have a chance. And there's no doubt in my mind that this coaching staff is continuing to prepare our boys to do just that. And we're just hoping they're going to come out and execute and play to the best of their ability. And we'll see what happens. And we'll just see what happens. So stay tuned. After the game or some social media posts on Saturday or through the weekend, it's going to give you some updates. The athletic director, Shug Parker, will be, I'm sure, pushing out some information as quickly as we get it to determine where we'll go and all that kinds of stuff. But yeah, we're excited. Again, we still have that opportunity to do some really cool things. Chance for these guys I mentioned before the show they could become legends tonight, or excuse me, tomorrow night. And then next week, just continue their new legacy as we pound our way through the playoffs. And again, we're excited just for the opportunity. Guys, I appreciate you joining me today.
Thank you.
For taking your time to be here. And once again, I want to thank, I failed too early, but you see the commercials and other things that I run, but I want to thank verbally Bennett Johnson Insurance, that's Mr. Daniel Johnson, for his title sponsorship of the football season this year, as well as the Coaches Show. So again, thank you for joining us on this edition of the Red Raider Coaches Show.